Hi, everyone. Hi, you on the other side of this video. Thank you for joining me today in this overview of my journaling planner. This is a Moterm cover. It's the TN version in the natural apricot color, I think it's called. Absolutely love it. Quality notebook, very, very affordable. For those that want to enter the natural leather, vegan dyed natural leather. These are beautifully made. And I got this one because you can really stuff it. So let's go through it, and you'll probably see that I've sticky noted several different places because, like I mentioned, this is a journal. So there's a lot of information in here, personal investigation, personal communication. And so I wanted to keep that as private as possible. But I'll share some things with you. So first, you could see I have this plain notebook journaling just to have in here to, again, I like how stuffy it feels by having all these notebooks in here. This is a junk journaling notebook that I've created a while back. I think I have a video on my channel going through what I've done here. If you'd like to see a closer look of some of the additions that I've done. But you could see more detail, like I said, in a different video. This one is the one I'm going to share with you this evening, and this one is a notebook that I cut down to fit this traveler's notebook. I just had it sitting on a shelf and it wasn't being used, and I wanted to use it, so I went ahead and cut it down. In the front, it says, "Don't regret, just learn and grow," which is a big motto of mine. This is the personal information. Make a mess and have fun. And you could see I've cut out some magazine cutouts. There's quite a bit of information that's blocked here, unfortunately, but you'll be able to see some of it. I do go through and I want to, I have some quotes here. When I go through the Bible, I actually write different quotes that speak to me. There are some more over here. Sometimes I'll include my own interpretation of those. I use it as a dream journal as well. And I try to have myself analyze that particular dream. I also include certain things that are interesting to me that I come across, and I put them here as so this is like a catch-all type notebook as well. So you'll notice that I learned about Madagascar's very, very tall trees that are just absolutely beautiful. And so I've cut that out, and then I took the snippet about it here. This is also a cork oak forest in Portugal, and this is where all of our corks come from, excuse me, from these trees, which are limited to this area in Portugal. I also include some quotes and some things I want to read again. For example, things I can always control. I can always control my words, my actions, my attitude, my perspective, my focus, my effort, my energy. Those are things that I can control. Everything else, let it be. I include different things that I'm thankful for that I identify within myself. I also love Rumi. If you're familiar with Rumi, he's a Persian poet, and it actually wasn't his first love. It's something that he kind of fell into if you read his story. He's a Sufi mystic from Khorasan in Greater Iran, from Persia. So he has beautiful poems. There's Buddha's Lounge, I think, on YouTube where you can hear some of his poems, and they're played to beautiful background music if you're interested. This is the Eight Noble Truths. I have different quotes here that spoke to me. And I hope you can pause it to read it because I do think they're beautiful. And if they ignite something within you that lights you up and makes you alive, I think that's the beauty of this life, is to figure out what makes you tick, right? And then give that to the world, whether they like it or not. That's the beauty that you have within you. These are the 8 forms of capital. Quite often people only think about financial capital, which is so, so wrong. There are so many other capitals that we should take advantage of and utilize in our everyday life. This is something that I've wrote down for myself as a reminder. If you are experiencing anxiety, and who hasn't, if you're worried about something, whether it's happening in the world or at work or with someone you love, just this is a good way to pause, right? And bring yourself back to center. This is a wonderful quote here. It says, if you are depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're at peace, you're living in the present moment. Because very few things are actually happening in the present moment. A lot of it is things we're ruminating over or things we're predicting that could happen, which how many times does it turn out to not be as bad? These are different journal entries that I've done. I love taking some magazines. I think it's Somerset Studio, I think is one of them that I like to cut up. And this one, it says, dream it and be it. And they're just beautiful. And a lot, like in this case, I have a quote going around and it says, there are 3 losses in life: loss of naivety, loss of innocence, and then loss of life. So we really die 3 times. And it's funny because I know my kids say YOLO, you only live once, which is such it's a lie, right? You live a long time, you only die 3 times. You die 1 time, you lose your life, but you lose part of yourself 3 different times, different parts of yourself. This is a paper I got from Taiwan's temple, and this is what they use. They write on the back of it. It's very, so I love the texture of it, and I wanted to journal about it. This is something they write their wishes on the back of this, and then they burn it as a ritualistic way of bringing about their desires, whether it's asking for health or a cure of some kind or love. That's what they use. These, again, are some of the things from different parts of the Bible. This is the book of Matthew. And if you actually capture and reread some of these things as they are, and make sure you do it within context. In the Bible, a lot of times things are taken out of context, and they're if you look at it from a perspective of just what it literally says, you will see that your belief about yourself and your belief about what is possible to you literally creates what is given to you. And it doesn't matter which religion it is. And by the way, religion means regalia, to bind in Latin. To bind the mind, to bind what is possible to you. Here's one that's wonderful. It says, by your words you will be acquitted, and by your words you will be condemned. Meaning that what you say out loud literally will come to meet you in the future. So the present moment is continuously creating the future you're going to meet. And it's all written in the Bible. This is very important here. Sow your seed of your desire. And who gives you desires? It's God, after all, that gives you desires, right? Sow your seed clearly, intentionally, and go on without a speck of doubt. That's the devil, is doubting that what you have desired will not come to you. But remember, everything you ask for comes with consequences. So choose wisely, as they say. These are wonderful stories that I copied from the Bible. Like I said, it spoke to me. Also, I love listening to Alan Watts' Chill Step when I'm working. It just plays in the background and it's very relaxing. The background music is wonderful. So look it up, Alan Watts Chill Step mixes. Some are better than others, but try them out and you'll see. I wrote down this is one of the talks, and I've listened to them for so long that I probably know them by heart, but I've written down some that I really wanted to capture here because you don't know how long these things will be available online. So it's good to have them written down on paper. In some cases, I didn't want to write anything down. I just wanted to play with scissors and cut up some things and some words, right? And just put them on here. I also put little notes for myself everywhere. And if you think about it, those are all true. You give meaning to everything. You are the one that's labeling every experience. Every single experience, you're the one that's giving it meaning, whether it's good or bad or indifferent and two people can just have a completely different perspective of the same experience. So those are things to go, wonder why. Here's one that I love, and I think this is from Rumi as well. It says, if you are irritated by every rub, how will you be polished? Right? I look at it as life does this to us. We are just a rock, and life does this to us and continuously rubs us. And if we have a problem with those experiences of growth, how will we turn into a diamond? Because a diamond has to go through, and what I mean by being rubbed, that's the conflicts, right? That's the disagreement. That's the bad relationships. It's the bad job. It's all those things that are rubbing you. And you can accept them and integrate them in a lot of different ways. This is some things that I'm grateful for. I just simply write some things that I love and I would love to achieve. And I write about them and how they make me feel. This is other things that I've written down. For example, what is it about anxiety? Why does anxiety occur in me? And every person is different. Is it the control freak part of it? Is it a desire to have a certain outcome and then not sure what will happen next? So those are things that I'm trying to explore because ultimately it's you and you. For example, one of the things that I think is also very important is etymology. And etymology is the root of words. So if you look at the Bible, and the Bible's been changed so many times, there's so many different versions. Even if you understand it in Hebrew, which I do, you'll notice that some things are lost in translation and are misinterpreted, I think, sometimes maybe on purpose. Now, if you look at the word repent, repentance doesn't mean being sorry. It doesn't mean in my opinion, it doesn't mean going into a booth and apologizing for what you've done. Whatever you've done had to be created because you thought it. You thought about it. You were concerned about it. Someone else thought it for you. So repentance means complete metanoia. Metanoia is in Latin, and that means to change one's mind. You have to, like a magnet, instead of thinking a certain way, a magnet is all directions is in one way. All atoms are pointing one way versus having different atoms within the same magnet, which is not a magnet at that point because you have the atoms pointing in different directions. So it's not being sorry for sins, but rather completely change your mind to that which you want to create. Change your mind. You don't like what you've created so far? Change it. These are parts from the Bible that speak to the psychological aspect of the mind, but they're written as individuals, as a state. But if you think about a state, why do they say state of mind? Because it's a persona. And if you look at the disciples, they actually all have different behaviors, right? And if you think about your like in this case, I'm talking about the mind being a coward, right? Because your brain's job is to keep you safe. Your brain's job is to protect you from the unknown because it doesn't know if you're going to make it, right? So you have your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. And I mean, I can go on and on and on. It's pretty deep. If you're interested in this type of content, just let me know. But I wanted to share my journal with you. There's some more. Be strong and courageous because you're creating your own reality. If you think about the word historia, it's an actor in Latin. So history is what has been acted out. Acting is a game. Persona is a mask in Latin. So if we're a person, we're simply playing a part. Create the part for your actor. Create the script. These are some journaling areas. This is talking about, and by the way, all this comes together when you understand astrology, you read all the different Bibles that exist, you look at different religions, and you start to see there's a common denominator between all of them. And it starts coming together. And in this particular case, we talk about Aries, and Aries being the head that's being born, right? And how that relates to the sun and the story of creation. But again, it's another story. I don't want to derail this video here. This is something wonderful that I would love to maybe cover in a separate video, and that's Neville Goddard's techniques to create your reality or to change where you've been and move forward into what it is you want to create. This here is a map of consciousness by David Hawkins. He has wonderful books that I recommend reading. And this talks about it talks about your vibration level of consciousness as you feel certain feelings, right? Your level of feelings, your life view that correlates that level. And then the God view meaning your higher self, because your God view is always observing. Everything is always great. The only time things don't feel great is that when the smaller we, is not aligned to the higher view, because we're not smart enough to see the big picture, right? Here I talk about the only competition is you with you, right? You have to expect what it is you desire and simply play a game. Oh, I wonder how long it's going to take. Wonder how long it's going to take for so-and-so to come, with no doubt. Again, this is a different video type. I love how the papers are aged and thick because of all the gluing and papering, and I just love it. This is a paper that I I tried to paint a flower, and I used some watercolors on it, and I glued it onto this piece of paper. I love this page here. In this page, I've used the metallic watercolors on this. And these are the Prima metallic accents color. And I love the way they turned out. And I used some Happy Planner sticker here. Sometimes when I eat something unique that I haven't eaten before, or I eat every once in a while, I'll write out the benefits of it. So in this case, it was oysters and like, what is it good for? Which I love oysters. Always good to try new things and allow yourself to experience it. Sometimes I just have some decorations and I'll come back later and I'll put little snippets of quotes and stuff that I have. And I have these pages that haven't been filled in yet because when I first opened this notebook, these things came out of the front. Well, these are things I come across through daily life because I don't journal every single day. I wish I had the time. I really do. But I collect things that speak to me and I collect them in this notebook. I just throw them in here. So when I have time to journal, I'll use them on a different spread. Like here's a wonderful one where everybody's so distracted nowadays into the live vision, that they're not even noticing what's happening around them. Or if they are, they're ignoring it and just paying attention to the act. So that's something I want to journal about because when I saw the image, it spoke to me. Also, I know this is weird, but those are things that come to you as you're noticing them. I capture them. For example, if you notice in movies, the color green cannot be seen and the color blue cannot be harmed. And the crazy part about it is if you look at your chakras, green is to signify the heart because nobody really knows how you feel, right? Of course, unless you speak it, but nobody could see how your heart feels, but your heart creates. Now, blue is your higher mind and it cannot be harmed. That literally tells you that if you are in the God level, which is the crown chakra, right? Or sorry, this is the blue is the throat chakra, cannot be harmed. And blue is, I capture this from this, if you look at what happened in Maui, right, with the blue umbrellas and blue t-shirts and blue cars, for example, it's something to question. So I wrote it down as interesting. Next, I have different quotes that are interesting. For example, Golgotha, where Jesus was crucified, is actually skull in Latin, cranium, the head, heart is earth. It's an anagram for earth. So read the Bible where he speaks of earth and transliterate it to heart and see if you get a different context or a different meaning. Adam gave a rib to Eve, but an atom, which is Adam is Adama in Hebrew, has to give an electron to create a like one, a like atom. So when an atom is, there's one and it splits, like when it does when it creates a baby, or it splits into fours and so on and so on, it has to give an electron, which is El, for God, Elohim. I mean, it's mind-blowing when you start digging deep into this information with an open mind. These are some quotes that I found interesting as well, like we prefer any lie to feeling pain. What? The ways of the heart cannot be explained. It wants what it wants, right? Everything is self-betrayal. Actually, even if you look at the story of Jesus and Judas, Jesus knew all along who did it. The only thing, person, experience that could betray you is you and what you think. You created. This is regarding a tribe that I was investigating and doing some analysis on. And this is the type of tattoos they used to have on their faces. And I was curious about what they meant to them and why they've done them. If you look at this, for example, every decision for something is a decision against something else. Again, that's the way you look at things. That's a perception. So I have several things that I need to go back and write about that have come into my experience. Even if you look at all the different Greek mythologies, Egyptian mythologies, and their gods and why their gods experience, it will blow your mind to see the similarities between all of it. These are different words in different languages as I'm learning new things. Oh, this is wonderful too. If you want to see an experience that was done by NIH, it was done in the 70s by Dr. Calhoun about the mice experiment, where he tested a utopian environment, kind of like communism, where everything is given to them. I'm not going to share the outcome with you because I don't want to spoil it for you, but it will blow your mind. It's totally different than what some people think the outcome would have been for those mice. Let's see. When eating fruit, remember the one that planted the tree. Those are beautiful things we can implement in our mind because it immediately changes the experience of eating the fruit or the vegetable or whatever it is. It gives things, right? The Thaddeus, one of the disciples, that really is not talked about very much, is it? A ship in harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. Isn't that beautiful? So those are some, here's an example. History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it. Winston Churchill. And that's not an accident. By the way, this here is very true. If you think about it, the only one that gets to write history is the victor. And the victor could be done by violence, right? So we have to question history. Why did you get to write it, right? So it was a long detour, but I hope that was appreciated. We are happy when we are growing. By the way, that leads into Dr. Calhoun experiment with the mice, the utopian mice experiment. You will understand what I mean by this once you look up that experiment. Here's one by Nietzsche, which was a philosopher. He said, in individuals, insanity is rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule. Something to make you ponder. Groups make people crazy. These are some bows that I have left over from, I think, the Planner Society, or maybe some washi tape that I've had laying around and I'm trying to use up. I just put it in different places. Again, this is another one of those empty spaces that I'm going to come back to and answer this question. Self-reflection, self-discovery. Another empty space that's prepared. Another one here. Consciousness is the one and only reality. This is the Alice in Wonderland card from Stamperia scrapbooking packet. I love that one. I love Stamperia. And they have some wonderful designs. You can find them on Amazon. Uses some other places. This is a stamp by the Planet Society, I think. Some old washi I was trying to use up, so I just stuck it here. This is interesting. This was on a washi tape, and it says, one should not be so extreme in life, but should walk the middle path, which is right aligned with the Tao, the middle path. Don't be too extremes. Don't have too many highs, too many lows. That's how it has a hold on you. I love this washi tape. This is from not Emily's, Emma's stationery shop. She has her own website. And that's pretty much it for this. I hope you found this helpful. I wasn't sure what to do tonight's video on, but I wanted to stay committed to myself and a 30-day upload challenge that I've set out for myself. So next few videos, I better come up with something because this is the last thing I have to share with you. I hope you found this interesting. Please leave your comments below. If you like the video, please like it because it does make a difference to the algorithm. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. Otherwise, maybe on the next one. I know I have lots of views without subscribers, or a lot of people are returning to view the videos, but they're not subscribed. So if you are one of those folks, please consider subscribing. Otherwise, you will see me on the next video. Have a great one. Bye.